Yes, people, welcome back to the Daily Football Report on the daonlyahyah. And yes, it's Derby Day, so I'm getting ready to go watch the game, as we know. But I had to bring you some quick football news before we headed out to watch one of the most exciting games for the weekend, if not the most exciting games for the weekend. So let's jump into it right away. Højlund scores for Napoli, as we know. Now, Antonio Conte has had some real big statements to make on Rasmus Højlund. Not only did he say he's one of the best young strikers around, he also said that Rasmus Højlund is ready to take that next step. And I'm so happy that he's under a manager that shows passion, shows also compassion. Because a lot of people think Antonio Conte is just a dog every time. But you can tell he has a soft part about him that gets players wanting to play for him. And that's a really good thing. And I enjoy watching Antonio Conte football teams play, especially when people like to say about him and Mourinho, oh, they're boring, oh, they're outdated. He's probably going to win the Serie A again. And with that team that he has, McTominay, the old Manchester boys with McTominay, De Bruyne, Højlund, like they are top quality players in there. One of my favorite midfielders, Anguissa, is in that team. And I'm telling you, if they win the Serie A again, Rasmus Højlund scoring 20 goals, it's going to show on not only United, but it's going to show on the quality that was around him. Now, I am a big person that one person that thinks Rasmus Højlund did not get a fair shot at Manchester United. I still think he should have had more time. I still think, okay, him going out on loan to develop, but to sell him, I'm still not happy about that one. And I think that we can supposed to do more with our younger players and try to get the best out of him. Which is why I see Amorim a bit hard on a player like Mainoo, who he was talking about, saying that Kobbie Mainoo needs to play harder, work harder. He needs to do a bit more in the games. He, sometimes drifts away, gets lost, evades the middle of the pitch. There was a few things Amorim had to say about Mainoo, which is accurate, which you can see when you watch the game, that he does make some mistakes and he does make with positional errors, and there's a few things about him that he can develop. And what is wrong with trying to develop a top young talent, using the time to make sure that that talent develops? So I think it's good that Højlund got to move away, but for me personally, I just still think that United should have done more, in which they have been doing with a player like Mainoo, saying, hey, you can't leave, which tells me that they think that Mainoo's ceiling is a lot higher than Højlund, which I do too, to be fair. Like, I do think positionally, Mainoo can be one of the best midfielders to play the game ever, technically, if he gets better at the smaller things like intensity, passing range, those things. He's still young, so he can develop. But Højlund, I can see him being one of the best strikers in the world at some point, but I don't think he will ever be that guy. So I can understand why the club invested more in Mainoo than they did in Højlund. Now, Martial has moved to Monterrey to see to play with Sergio Ramos. For you who don't know, Monterrey plays in the Mexican Liga X, which is the top league in Mexico. So that is one of the bright sparks of you being able to play in the Club World Cup. Because now teams and other players who are basically not a part of top European clubs anymore will go to these teams because they see them participating in the Club World Cup. Which is why you see teams like Al Nassr, Al Ittihad and stuff, they wanted to try to win the Club World Cup. Because imagine if a Saudi pro team won the Club World Cup. And you realize how easy now it is for them to call players into the club, into the Saudi league, because after the Club World Cup. So the Club World Cup did have its benefits. And I think for the people in them that don't understand what it means for smaller countries, smaller associations and stuff, they won't really understand the benefit of the Club World Cup. But then now, you haven't benefits of players and players' benefits being put into consideration. You have Barcelona and Spain national team going at it. Hans Flick is very upset with the Spanish national team for making Lamine Yamal play 73 plus 75 plus minutes in 2 games while he had a minor injury coming from Barcelona, and he actually hurt it a bit more in Spanish camp. Now, I think this is a major problem, and this is the conflictual part of it. When you have a small problem like this with the national team and the club, this is where you need to have better communication. Now, national teams, I understand you want to win, you want to represent your country. Managers at national teams are under as much pressure as club managers, no matter what people say. And at the end of the day, this is a problem. Now you have Deschamps doing the same with Dembele, and now Dembele is injured, and the same thing is happening now with Lamine Yamal. Now these are arguably at the moment the two best players in the world. So obviously each coach, I can see they're like, yo, these are my best players. Like, I want them to play in these games. But they have to also realize fatigue. And Lamine Yamal is not 20 years old yet. Lamine Yamal is still developing into a man, much less a top footballer. So we have to have a little bit more grace and understanding, and we have to, as managers, especially when kids are young, no matter how much training they're doing and how much you want to win, you still have to think about the player and the long term of the player. Now, what if Lamine Yamal's career is ended and finishes young because they can't manage the kid right? Not only does Spain lose a top player, the world of football loses a top player. His career ends short. His family career, in terms of him sustaining his family, building a legacy, cut short. There's a lot of things we have to play in mind that will be cut short if we don't manage Lamine Yamal properly. And you've seen it with a lot of young players that burn out quickly. And that's also why as I said earlier, it's a big pat on the back to a man like Ruben Amorim, taking care of Kobbie Mainoo. Now, on other transfer news, Eriksen moves to Wolfsburg in Bundesliga. So that is a good move for him. As we know, Eriksen has had a tough time over the last couple of years. But Christian Eriksen is one of the only footballers I see can be a free agent, trade with so many different clubs, and then just sign a deal at a good club whenever he wants. And I actually really like Christian Eriksen. From Brentford, after that situation he had with the heart attack, God bless his soul, especially what we've seen happen to Diego Jota, even if it was different sort of tragedies, at least both could have ended up in the same way. But thank God that Eriksen didn't. And now he's able to not only have a heartbeat, have a proper heart working for him and a pacemaker, but also he's able to play football for Brentford, for United, now at Wolfsburg. So I'm just really happy for Christian Eriksen, and I just want to wish him all the best going forward. But yes, people, this has been your short daily report as we're about to head out to the game. So don't forget also to please do me a favor, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page. Keep it in the bell for notifications, of course, so I can continue bringing you great content going forward. It's been your boy Yaya coming to you always. Have a good time, and come on, Red Devils! I'm about to head out to the casino right now to have a great time and watch Manchester United win that game. Check me out for the review, and check me out for the 3 things of the game after. Take care, ciao.